Let's all chip in and buy a new house as a celebration gift, haha. Really? I'm so thrilled. Don't worry, we've already secured the land, and construction has started. All we need to do now is pool our money,
John says with a beaming smile. Additionally, my sister-in-law is overjoyed and quite excited. Seeing the two of them like this, the relatives, initially surprised by John's announcement, start to smile warmly.
But that's too much to ask. Rin, are you really okay with this?
Only the brother-in-law looks guiltily at me, seeking my approval.
Don't be shy. Of course, it's okay, right?
John, in high spirits, turns to me, expecting my agreement. To which I respond.
What? Why should we? The baby is yours, right?
I said that.
What?
With that revelation, the previously celebratory mood instantly freezes.
What do you mean? Is this child John's? Rin, what are you talking about all of a sudden? Yes, this child is undeniably Sia Cheese.
The two start to panic. Everyone looks at me, puzzled. Observing their reactions, I decide to call someone to the scene. I'm Rin Manson. 25 years old, newly married in my first year of marriage. My family is what you'd call wealthy. We own several large properties, some of which have apartments built on them. Located in prime areas, they are usually fully occupied. The income from these alone is enough for us to live comfortably.
Rin, would you like to join me to learn and check on things? Yes, of course.
My maternal grandmother manages the apartments. Meanwhile, my paternal grandparents and parents are farmers. They use their vast lands to grow delicious vegetables every day with many employees. Our vegetables are famously tasty and supplied to renowned hotels and traditional inns.
I'm thinking of taking over the farm, Rin. Are you okay with that? That's fine with me. I prefer managing the apartments.
My brother Mike and his family are set to take over. Mike has always loved farming and chose to take over without being asked. His family also works enthusiastically in the fields, competing with the employees. So, I decided to help with managing the apartments. No one objected to our choices. Everyone said we are happy that you are taking over.
I'm getting on in years, so maybe it's time to start letting Rin handle things.
So, I'll soon be taking over the job completely. At this rate, I should be able to live comfortably on passive income. That's why I was so focused on the family business and not so much on romance. I hadn't had a boyfriend in years, let alone thought about marriage. Worried about me, my parents set up a match. I'm John Wilson. Nice to meet you. That's how I met my husband, John. He was 2 years older than me and knew things I didn't. His maturity and knowledge attracted me right away.
I like people who work hard at their jobs.
Inspired by his words, I started a side business with my grandmother's blessing. He liked that I was making an effort, and after he proposed, I decided to marry him.
My brother will take over the family business, so I'm thinking of taking your surname.
And so, he joined my family as a son-in-law. His kindness made me even more attracted to him. John works for a multinational company, and we live a comfortable life. My in-laws are all wonderful people who welcomed me warmly.
After I retire, I think I'll try my hand at farming. Maybe you can give me some tips.
My father-in-law always says that with a kind smile.
Do you like crafts, too, Rin? That's great. I'm the only one interested in them in our house.
My mother-in-law and I get along well because we share the same hobby. My brother-in-law, who lives with us, is a gentle person, and everyone in his family cares about me. I'm really glad to be a part of such a family. Oh, Rin, you're here.
Sorry to intrude, sister-in-law.
There's just one troublesome person in this lovely family. My sister-in-law. She is the wife of my brother-in-law and, apparently, she's been friends with John and my brother-in-law since childhood.
That's why I didn't hesitate to move in. They've always been close, and they treat me like a real daughter. Is that so?
Every time I visit my in-laws, she says things like that. She also tells me unasked things like, John likes this or he prefers that. It's like she's trying to show off that she knows him better than I do.
Really? Thanks for letting me know. I'll keep that in mind.
I finally get a break from her when I respond like that. But still.
Emma, that's rude to Rin.
Sorry, Rin. Don't mind what Emma says. My brother-in-law scolds her, and John backs me up, so I don't take it too hard. Well, I guess she feels like I'm intruding on their relationship of 3, and she just doesn't like my presence. There's nothing much to do about it, but give it time. I'll just have to deal with it slowly. That's how I was taking things easy.
But I'm happy to hear about your preferences and your past, you know? You're so positive, Rin. It's a bit embarrassing, but I love that about you.
John told me that, appreciating my positive outlook. That's why I can let his sister's words slide off me. By the way, our house is within walking distance of my in-laws. So, I get invited over there all the time and show up quite often. Most of our family events are held at my in-laws' place.
It's great that Rin visits us, but don't you need to see your own family too? Yeah, I feel like we're monopolizing you.
My in-laws say this, showing concern. But, my family's house is lived in by my brother's family, and the farming keeps them busy regardless of any events. Plus, we have greenhouses, so the work is not seasonal. There are employees, so there's no need for me to help out. That's why I don't visit my family's house much. When I explain this,
they must be really busy. Then, relax and feel at home here,
they say with kind smiles. Just as I'm about to smile back.
Isn't it sad you can't go back to your own house? Don't you think you're a burden to your family?
My sister-in-law chimes in. My in-laws look exasperated.
That's not something you should say. I've always thought this, but you really need to stop butting in where you're not needed.
They tell her, and she looks annoyed. But she's quickly calmed down by John and my brother-in-law, turning away with a humph. I can't seem to get along with her. This is going to be a long battle. I thought to myself, watching her.
Today I'll probably be late again, so go ahead and sleep first.
Really? Must be tough. John has been coming home late recently. Apparently, it's a busy period at work. I have deadlines, but no such busy periods, so I don't really understand that part. All I can do is trust him and see him off.
It's okay. He's just busy.
Even though I suspect something, I reassure myself. In those days, I often found myself waiting alone for John to come home.
Oh, you're still up?
John returned late at night. As usual, his voice gentle.
I was just wrapping up some work. Did you have dinner? Don't push yourself too hard. I grabbed something light, but I could go for a snack. Got anything?
I agreed and moved to take his bag.
Why don't you take a shower in the meantime? I'll get something ready. I'll take you up on that.
He handed me his work bag and headed for dinner. Then, I caught a whiff of a familiar perfume.
This scent. What's up?
John asked, tilting his head as I suddenly stopped. I honestly told him, I smell perfume. There was a flicker of something in his eyes.
Oh! The person I had dinner with today wore a strong perfume. Must have rubbed off. I see. I'll go wash it off right away.
I watched John head off and started preparing the snack. Meanwhile, I tried to remember where I knew the scent from.
That's right. It's my sister-in-law's perfume.
It was the scent of the new perfume she had bragged about.
Is it popular? What's that?
I nearly jumped when he suddenly spoke from behind me. Standing there was John, looking puzzled.
I just realized the perfume smell from earlier is the same as the one my sister-in-law was showing off recently. So, I wondered if it's popular. Maybe it is.
John seemed shaken by my words. Still puzzled, I served the snack. We went to bed without further discussion.
I'll be off then. I'll try to come back as early as I can. Okay, have a good day.
The next day. After seeing John off, I put his clothes from yesterday in the washing machine. That's when a pair of earrings tumbled out. These,
Sean made them as a hobby, a one-of-a-kind item. John isn't handy enough to make something like this.
My sister-in-law had proudly told me about these earrings. Honestly, until yesterday, I thought, such coincidences do happen. It became certain.
What should we do now?
I couldn't just let things be. I thought about my next move, clutching the earrings. Then, after a while, I received a call from my in-laws.
Emma is pregnant. I'm going to be a grandma. Really? Congratulations.
It was the news that my sister-in-law Emma was pregnant. When I heard it, a possibility crossed my mind.
Rin, what's wrong? Sorry to bother you when you're busy. I need some advice.
I talked to my brother to be ready for any situation. And he agreed to help me. Then I started visiting my in-laws more often, not so much for Emma, but to help out my in-laws. Rin, do the laundry.
Once you're done, we need to go shopping. Okay, got it.
Emma acted like a demanding pregnant lady, ordering me around. I just smiled and let it slide. In front of my in-laws, she played the "I'm so sick from morning sickness, I can't do anything" card. It seemed like she was at least trying to be considerate in front of them. Emma would pick on me when the in-laws weren't around. I thought to myself, she's got nerve, while recording her voice.
Thanks for helping out with Emma. Mom and Dad are really grateful too. Really? My schedule is still flexible.
John thanked me, looking pleased. I watched him with a somewhat detached feeling. What was he really thinking in his interactions with me? I had these thoughts.
Did you hear, Rin? The baby's finally born. Oh, is that so?
Then, the baby was finally born. Watching John's joy as if it were his own, I became more calm and collected.
So, I was thinking, why don't we all chip in and buy them a new house as a birth present? A new house?
According to John, there had been talk of selling the in-laws' house and moving into a duplex. The in-laws' house was old and would need remodeling soon. So, I was hoping. Rin, could you help with the costs? And maybe the land too. His words struck me as incredibly audacious. John himself seemed somewhat aware of this. He looked a bit apologetic.
She's an important childhood friend, so.
I stared intently at John. John kept avoiding my gaze. After a few seconds, an idea popped into my head.
It's fine. I'll check with Grandma if there's any good land available. Really? Thanks, Rin.
After a while, Emma's health improved, and we decided to throw a celebration party for her with the relatives. Emma, the guest of honor, was being showered with blessings from everyone.
Congratulations. You did well. Thank you.
Emma, looking pleased with all the attention. Then, perhaps because of the alcohol, an unusually high-spirited John stepped forward.
Let's all chip in and buy them a new house as a gift, haha. Really? I'm so happy. We've already secured the land, and construction has started, so all we need now is everyone to pitch in.
John said this with a beaming smile. And Emma was also overjoyed and exuberant. Seeing them like this, the relatives, initially surprised by John's statement, started to smile warmly.
That's really too much. Rin, are you sure about this?
Only the brother-in-law looked guiltily at me, asking for my approval.
Don't hold back. Of course, it's fine, right?
To this, a buoyant John turned to me for confirmation. To which I responded.
What? Why should we? The baby is yours, right?
I said that.
What?
With that revelation, the previously celebratory mood instantly froze.
What do you mean? Is this child John's? Rin, what are you talking about all of a sudden? Yes, this child is undeniably Sean's.
The two started to panic. Everyone looked at me, puzzled. As I watched their reactions, I decided to call someone to the scene.
Sorry to intrude. You're Rin's brother, right?
The person I called was my brother. The relatives were bewildered by his sudden entrance.
Eh? Mike?
In the midst of this, the brother-in-law exclaimed my brother's name in surprise. Actually, my brother and the brother-in-law are friends. At the marriage meetup, they laughed, saying to each other, "So, you're the brother?" My brother showed a picture on his smartphone.
Wait, is that? What? No way.
The photo showed Emma and John getting cozy, closer than what's acceptable even for childhood friends, let alone married people. As my brother scrolled, there were also pictures of them entering a hotel.
What's this supposed to mean? It's fake. That's right. Don't believe this. What are you trying to do with these pictures?
John glared sharply at my brother. My brother just smiled nonchalantly.
I was just helping my sister, using my and our parents' connections.
At that, John's gaze turned to me. I tilted my head.
I thought you wanted to get caught, flaunting it like that. Flaunting? What are you talking about?
To the two pretending to be clueless, I took out the earrings. Emma briefly looked panicked but then feigned ignorance.
You had those earrings? I thought I lost them. They weren't lost. You left them deliberately, didn't you? Along with the perfume.
I found out that perfume was a limited edition, distributed only to the first 5 customers. Not something everyone could have. The fact that the scent transferred suggests you were pretty close, doesn't it? I said this while staring back at John, who subtly looked away. He's so transparent.
You always look away when something doesn't suit you. That's... My calling my brother here today was to divorce you and have him help move my things. And to confront you with evidence of your affair.
John's face went pale at my words. He tried to grab me, pleading, wait. But the brother-in-law firmly grabbed his shoulder.
You two have a lot to talk about. Write the divorce papers now.
His voice was clearly filled with anger. As John turned, the in-laws and relatives were all glaring at them.
Huh.
John, completely overwhelmed, shakily signed the divorce papers. After making sure it was done, I left the in-laws' house with my brother. We left to the sound of the in-laws' shouts and their cries, laughing. Still, our parents really had no eye for people. My brother laughed as he said this. I asked for his help this time because he had told me something when I got married.
If anything happens, come talk to me. That family's a bit complicated.
That advice made me consult him first this time. Apparently, he already knew about the complex relationship between the brother-in-law and Emma from the brother-in-law himself.
Sean seemed normal, but it's wrong for childhood friends to interfere in each other's relationships like that.
Apparently, Emma, despite the age difference, had been meddling in the relationship between John and the brother-in-law. Emma had a strong attachment to the trio of childhood friends. She didn't allow anyone, even school friends, to come between them.
That Emma, was it? I wonder if she really loved those two.
My brother muttered this. I understood what he meant a few days later. I immediately filed for divorce after that. Since then, John and Emma have been cornered by the relatives.
I'm really sorry for the trouble this time.
The brother-in-law told me what happened afterwards. He immediately did a DNA test. It turned out that Emma's baby was indeed John's. The brother-in-law grilled them about why they did it, on my behalf.
But I just couldn't stand someone else breaking into our trio of childhood friends.
Just as I suspected, Emma didn't like my presence. To her, both John and the brother-in-law were hers. She admitted she put the earrings there to make a point. John had always liked Emma.
But once I knew Emma liked my brother, I gave up on her.
So, he chose to marry me to move on. Then, when Emma started showing interest in him, he got carried away and went down the wrong path. John confided this to the brother-in-law.
I see. Thanks for telling me.
I sighed as I listened. The brother-in-law looked fed up too. Apparently, the brother-in-law never saw Emma more than a childhood friend. But when he thought about finding a girlfriend, Emma strongly approached him.
I was going to refuse at first. I knew John liked Emma.
The brother-in-law started dating Emma at the urging of John and their parents. Then, he came to like Emma and decided to marry her.
Well, now that she's betrayed me, those feelings are gone.
The brother-in-law said this. I could understand his feelings. I had fallen for John too. But the moment I realized his infidelity, all my love turned to anger.
What are you planning to do now? I'm planning to divorce too.
John said this when he told Emma of his intentions, and she apparently reacted violently. The in-laws finally lost their patience and collectively ousted Emma. John could only look on helplessly. Seeing Emma like that, John himself seemed to have lost his feelings for her. Well, she apparently even tried to abandon her own baby, so it's only natural. After being kicked out, Emma tried to contact John, but he rejected her call in front of the relatives.
John went back to his parents' house after being kicked out too. He called me crying when he found out your stuff was gone.
Is that so?
He said he loved Emma, but it seems like he did have feelings for you.
Hearing that, I felt nothing. I no longer had any feelings of love for John.
Thanks for the information.
Yeah, well.
Oh, my parents really liked you, so they'd be happy if you visited sometimes. I like your parents, so I'll visit them.
My brother-in-law said to me thanks and hung up.
All right, back to work.
By the way, I'm now living in the new house that was supposedly a gift for Emma. It's close to the apartments I manage, so my elderly grandmother will also be living with me. After finishing the preparations for my grandmother's arrival, I decided to focus on my work.
It really is as my brother said.
I remembered my brother's words after hearing the brother-in-law's story. Emma started a strong push for the brother-in-law the moment he thought of finding a girlfriend. And when John married, she harassed his wife and made advances toward him. In the end, Emma might not have truly loved either of them. The space of the trio of childhood friends. She only wanted it.
In a way, John might have been a victim, but he's still to blame for getting involved.
Sometime later, the doorbell rang while I was working.
Coming. Wait.
Long time. Can I come in for a bit? Standing there was John. I vaguely remembered he knew the address of this house.
Come in, then.
I let him into the house, seeing his completely disheartened look. John quietly followed me inside.
I'm working, so make it quick.
I see. You seem busy. I'm really sorry. My other job is as a writer. It seems that writing suits me, as I've been getting more requests for my work. What started as a side job has become a bit busy. I was thinking it would have been better if my main job was passive income. I'm really sorry about what happened. John deeply apologized to me. Divorcing Rin made me realize how important you were to me. John began to talk. He said he realized his feelings for me and regretted betraying me. Then he apologized deeply again. However, there was no word from him about wanting to start over. I couldn't help but stare at him, and John gave a wry smile. Sure, I want to start over, but you don't feel the same way, do you? I nodded honestly. I don't deserve to start over with you. I can't ask for reconciliation. He spoke like the John the First once loved. But that love had already disappeared. I'm really sorry. There's alimony in this bank book. With that, John left the bank book and left. If only you had realized your feelings for me sooner, maybe things would have been different. I muttered as I watched his lonely back leave. Shortly after.
Hey! I know you're in there.
Emma appeared. She kept ringing the doorbell.
It's your fault I'm miserable.
After being thrown out by the in-laws, Emma apparently went back to her parents. But after hearing the story from the in-laws, her parents also kicked her out. She tried to cling to John again, but when she saw him going somewhere, she followed him and found me. Without me asking, she ranted one-sidedly.
You have to take responsibility and support me. Responsibility? What are you talking about?
I asked back without opening the door, speaking through the monitor.
You're the one who tore us apart. Just open the door.
Emma started kicking the door, shouting. Then a hand was placed on her shoulder.
What,
Emma turned around to see my brother-in-law with a furious expression, accompanied by the police. She was then taken away by the police. With Emma gone, I opened the door. You must have been scared. I'm really sorry.
No, more importantly, why were you and the police there?
According to my brother-in-law, John noticed Emma heading to my house and contacted him and the police. They came rushing over in response.
You should file a report about this incident. Yes, I plan to.
I answered my brother-in-law while glancing around. That's when I spotted John a little distance away. He bowed deeply and then left.
Trying to look cool at the very end.
I muttered, watching his back. My brother-in-law agreed with a nod, that's true. Because of the report I filed, Emma didn't get a prison sentence but had to pay compensation. She ended up with a huge debt. Due to the damage to us and the harassment she did to me during her pregnancy. Meanwhile, John sold that house and submitted a transfer request, leaving a loan for a distant place. He told my brother-in-law, I can't stay near Rin. His transfer was far enough that the debt-ridden Emma couldn't follow him.
Then, she came clinging to me.
Of course, my brother-in-law ignored her. He took custody of the baby.
Do you need any help? No, my parents are there, so it's okay.
He said with a kind smile. With him and the in-laws, the baby would be fine.
Ah, right. I came today to tell you about our new address.
My brother-in-law and his parents decided to move from their house. They had to sell their house anyway. It was also to get away from the persistently meddling Emma.
If you're okay with it, come visit our new place. Sure, I'd love to.
I've been busy with my work, living with my grandmother. Though elderly, she's still active. She says you have to move actively, or you'll soon be unable to, and helps with household chores, for which I'm truly grateful. Her help allows me to focus on my work.
By the way, my parents said they're sorry for what they did.
My parents heard about the incident from my brother. When I visited home, they nearly prostrated themselves in apology. Well, it's their arranged marriage that led to all this. So it's hard for them not to feel guilty.
Thanks to that, they said they were sorry for pushing me into marriage and that I could be free for a while. That's good. If you want to get married, you can find someone yourself next time.
My brother said this with a laugh. I plan to send him some unique sweets as a thank you for his help.
Those sweets, my wife and kids like them. Then, I'll send plenty.
By the way, my grandmother has said it's okay if I don't get married.
Whether to marry or not is for you to decide, Rin. If you're happy, nobody else should have a say.
She's been supportive like that. Thanks to her, I've been able to work freely.
Well, I might finish work early today and go out with Grandma.
Thanks to many people, I live a peaceful and calm life. Since then, I've been busy with work. I haven't seen John since. Rumor has it he's doing well in his new location. According to my brother-in-law, he occasionally sends child support. Emma, on the other hand, is completely isolated after being shunned by everyone. Eventually, she got involved with loan sharks and was taken away.
Rin, long time no see. Long time no see.
I occasionally meet with my in-laws, maintaining contact. I've introduced my parents to my father-in-law and participated in flea markets with my mother-in-law. We have a relationship like friends with an age gap.
The other day, I met a classmate and now we're dating.
My brother-in-law seems to have found a new relationship. Depressed about Emma, my brother introduced him to a former classmate. She had liked my brother-in-law for a long time but couldn't get close due to Emma's interference. And now, my brother played Cupid.
She's willing to become the baby's mother. I can finally be happy.
My brother-in-law smiled genuinely, looking truly happy. His expression was different from when Emma was around, genuinely happy. Seeing that, I felt I might be ready to date someone again. Just then.
By the way, one of our employees has a crush on you.
My brother brought this news. Apparently, he fell for me the moment I visited our home.
He's a really good guy, serious. Rin, would you like me to introduce him to you?
Yes, please do. I decided to meet him, an opportunity for happiness. Eventually, I got along well with him and began to walk towards happiness again.
All right, feeling motivated.
This time, I'll build a happy family. I've decided not to be swayed or compromised this time. With that determination, I firmly faced forward.